quickly to the class. You can know we are live. Awesome. We are live again today. The link has been shared to the class. So while we wait for others to join, I'll just go through very quickly to. I'll just have to brush through very quickly to what we printed. Excuse me, in our last class. I think this is better. So and tonight we'll not be taking much time because the battery life here is quite limited. So I'll just have to go through things very quickly. So in our previous class, we treated the source of it. We spoke about change and the revolution of change. Yeah, we spoke about that. We spoke about theories of change, how important change is in an organization. We spoke about the types of change. We spoke about changing the structure, changing the technology, changing the people. So the three basic types of change: structure, technology, people. We spoke about the theories of organizational change. We have a theory by Lewis. We have a theory by Ronald Liptip. We have a theory by Brock Litwins, and we have that of Fagen's theory. All this were discussed in our previous class, and today we're taking off from the sources of change. So we have okay, now I think we've taken the source of change in the previous class as well, where we have the internal and the external sources. So from our previous class, we're taking off on the note of techniques of change. So there are several approaches to implementing change. There are several approaches to implementing change. The path and strategy in which is adopted is dependent on the organization in question. The path varies and according to the intended change. It's dependent on the particular kind of change that is required. Now, it could be all or segment of the organization that requires change. Now, Robbins and Coulter in 2007 opine these approaches, and this approach suggests that now the approach Robbins and Coulter in 2007 introduced, the approaches are organizational development techniques, and under that technique we have about about 6 techniques, and these techniques has to do with sensitivity training. It has to do with team building. We have intergroup development, and we have more effective interpersonal relationship. We have feedback, and we have the process consultation. Now it's about 7 technique that he suggested, and that was done by Robbins and Kofler. So we have the goal of organizational development, which is OD, is to stabilize the new system to achieve a more effective interpersonal work relationship, and the techniques used is important to achieve this goal. Now, the whole essence of organizational development is to achieve what? Effective interpersonal work relationships. That is the whole essence of OD. Now, and these techniques to achieve this improved and effective interpersonal work relationship are: number 1, we have team building. Team building now talks about create activities that help team members learn how each member think and works. team building, synergy, working together, working hand in hand. That is what that is talking about. That's what team building. That's what they call the team spirit. So we have intergroup development. Speaking of which, this involves changing the attitudes, the stereotypes, and in the perception that work group have about each other. Each and every one of us has his or our own perception at something or the other. But intergroup development now gives everybody the opportunity to change their perception or their belief about a particular person or something. So we have the third one, which is process consultation. Process consultation helps manager to understand how interpersonal processes are affecting the way work is being done. Interpersonal in the sense now how they communicate, how personnel communicate, how they work together in an organization. Now, consultation now helps the manager to observe how this is going, how interpersonal work relationship is helping the organization achieving its goal. So we have survey feedback. Now, survey feedback simply means putting in place a technique for assessing attitude, perception, identifying discrepancies in this. Now, this identifying that the survey now and the feedback, survey feedback has to do with putting a technique in place, and this technique is basically to identify the discrepancies between attitudes and perceptions of work of personnel. Now, this is to be done to resolve differences and survey information from the feedback of the group is very important. So we have a sensitivity. Now, training, sensitivity training. Now, have in place a method changing behavior through unstructured group interaction. Like unstructured, sensitivity training has to do with improving the behavior of workers through unstructured group interaction. So we have that as that under the techniques of organizational development. So we have resistance to change. Now, resistance to change, or the thought of the implication of change. Now, what is resistance? When you fight against, when you revolt, when you don't agree to something. Now, why do people resist change? Why do people disagree to some certain change? Now, it appears common because it brings with what may be described as psychological shock. Now, which makes people to be naturally wary of change. Exactly. The fear of the unknown. Change is constant. What makes people get scared of change is because of what we call psychological shock. They don't know what it will bring. They don't know if it's going to tilt against them, if the pendulum is going to tilt against them, or it's going to work in their favor. So usually, that's how it is when it comes to resisting. The basic thing that makes people resist change is because of what we call psychological shock. So now we have that as that. So we have despite potential positive outcome, change is often resisted for a number of individual and organizational related reasons. Now, these reasons are individual resistance. Now, individual resistance from the name, stimulus presents a unique picture and image of their real world. But perception is selective and can lead to biased view of the change being introduced. Definitely, change is going to knock you off. Now, it now depends how much knocking off it's going to be. Is it going to be a positive knocking off? Or is it going to be a negative knocking off? That is that about resisting change by individual resistance, and we have Second, under individual resistance, now we have selective perception. Now you have a picture of who you are in mind, the picture of yourself, but the image of what might come with change can make you bias. You have a picture of who you are already in mind. You feel comfortable with that, and you seem to be moving on perfectly with that. But change comes with some unforeseen things you don't know of, and that alone, the thought of that alone, makes you uncomfortable and makes you biased. So we have under individual resistance, we have selective perception. Now, people interpretation of stimuli present a unique picture of their world, but perception is selective and can lead to biased view of the change being produced. Now, and especially the intention and purpose of the proposed change. So we have that as that. So the next thing we have here is organizational resistance. Now, organization from the word individual resistance, favor is you, or who do we have on the live stream with us? I think I have to use my handkerchief. Okay, I think I keep my handkerchief somewhere. So we have organizational resistance. Now, although now from the word individual resistance and organizational resistance now definitely has to be with the fear of the unknown. But let's just take it together. So we have, although organization has to adapt to changing internal and external conditions, there goes with the changes certain measure of apprehension about human of the new structure. Now, organization sometime, oh Mr. Jolas, it's great to have you. So we are talking about I think Favor is here to join us tonight. So we are speaking about change, and we've spoken in our previous class. We've spoken about what change is. We've spoken about theories of change, the types of change. Now we are talking about why people resist change, and we now under why organization resist change. We've spoken about why individuals resist change. So according to our organization now, the reason why they resist change is because organizational structure, culture. Now culture develop over time, which we know that, and um once settled and done, it is difficult to dislodge existing and prevail pervasive way of life. Definitely. That's organization by culture, resistant by culture. We have resistor by state. Awesome, awesome. We are back. I think there was a network there was a breakage in transmission there, but I believe we are back now. So now, under organizational resistance to change, we have the culture. It has to do with how, when we talk about culture, the way of life, how things are being done that are being accepted already, and it doesn't just happen overnight. It's a way of life. Maintaining stability. When we talk about maintaining stability in big organization, is actually not as easy as it seems, because if something has been stable and everything has been going smoothly, for change to come, it will definitely alter what has been in order to improve it. So one of the reasons why organizations might resist change is maintaining stability, also investing in resources. Also, we have past contracts or agreements. They resist change based on experience that has happened in the past, threat to power and influence. So we have fear of the loss of influence or erosion of authority arise if proposed change meant that hierarchy may be delayed, leading to loss of position. Okay, we have that as that. So conclusion, we have organization development is giving birth to in course of organization change. Now, can you imagine that organization development is giving birth to in the course of organizational change? That means you can take OD from OC. It was OC that gave birth to OD. So we have that as that. So we can move to the next. Yeah. Uh, um, um, so just move to the next page. Now we are in module 2. Yeah. So attitude and work. We are in module 2. We are just done with module 1, and we are taking unit 1 of module 2. So we have the meaning of work and attitude. These are two different things. The meaning of work and attitude. Work, according to who? Eze in 2004. Work is the central and essential part of life. I so much love this definition, precise and straightforward. Work is the central and essential part of life. Now, it is necessary for humans to provide basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, love, and esteem, and lofty life goals. Now, by working, they earn they earn money, which afford them meaningful life. That is very true. So we have we've defined what work is. So we have what attitude. Now, attitude can be defined as an enduring organization of motivational, emotional, perception, and cognitive processes. Now, attitude has to do with enduring organizational of motivation, emotional, perception, and cognitive process. Now, your attitude has a lot to do. Your attitude has to do with endurance, it has to do with your emotion, it has to do with your understanding, and it has to do with how much you are willing to go forth. So we have that as that. So okay, now we have under here we have something we call, okay, now under attitude we actually have Creos in 1995. He said, in a way, attitude consistency is not one way street. Now we have reality with regards to the first question. We have attitude influence behavior more strongly when when counteracting situation factors are weak. What are saying here? Attitude behavior are strongly when interacting with situation facts and weak. So we have general attitude do best at predicting general classes of behavior. I think these are the first questions we have, and that. So we have with regard to the second question now. The moment an individual or group begin to behave in a particular way, it is implied that rules as prescribed by official society norms or values in doctrination and so forth they are from attitude consist how they behave. Now reasons for this are now self-justification, we have persuasion, and we have self-promotion. So we have that as that. So under self-justification we have this account is awarded to Festinger. Festinger is the one giving these instructions. So he said, because individuals who feels ignorance among two or three cognition will likely experience unfortunate state of tension called cognitive dissonance. So we have self-justification, we also have persuasion, and with persuasion we also have self-perception. All these things are factors that can actually help to boost the sales, but we have that as that. So I think we are good with self-justification, persuasion, and self-perception. We have reasons for work. Now, why do we work? Let's find out. Now, the array of goods and services generated as a result of organized effort called work. Now, organized effort is called work. The generation of goods and services is called work. It's awesome. Work involves the deliberate use of physical, emotional, and mental energy to produce utility. Now, to produce utility as any organization, you are required to have at least physical, emotional. Oh, Favor, you're just coming in late. It's quite unfortunate. You're just coming in late, and we are almost done now. Yeah, you're almost done, but you can always watch back. You can always come back to channel and watch. I have been very actually busy since morning. Like, I've been issues at work I've been dealing with. I could not even rest throughout today, and you can see on my face I feel very, very sleepy right now. But I just have to push on. Miss Favor, you can always go back to the class and watch all what you have missed. So we have reasons for work. Now, work is being defined as an organized effort. Work is said to be an organized effort. In the name, Father, is meant to be work. Beg your pardon. It's an generated result of organized effort. Now, work involves the deliberate use of what? Physical, emotional, and mental energy. Three powerful keys: physical, emotional, and mental energy to produce what? To produce utility. That's work. So I'm trying to scroll down. Okay, so we have that as that. Now, a basic life goal: work is the core of life aspiration for many. Take that down, please. Work is the core of life. The core of life of aspiring for many. The core of life for aspiration is work. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we have that as that. Well, in other words, attitude describe our thoughts, basic feelings, behavior, whether negative or possible or positive. Then towards attitude objective. Now, these are things we talked about. We have people have attitude towards just about everyone and everything. Oh, my system battery life is almost draining. So we have to just run off the class very quickly. So we have, in other words, attitude describes our thoughts, families, behavior, and objects. So we have under that, see, we have cognitive environment. We have cognitive environment. Now, cognitive has to do with the brain. It has to do with the thoughts, the belief, the opinion, and knowledge, or individual held in, like for example, oh, don't close my phone, it's overheating, don't close. So now we have the cognitive memory. Cognitive has to do with belief, opinions, and shares. Belief, opinions, and what you think. So we have affective component. Affective component is basically from emotional feelings about people, place their subject on you, not even collect money. I think we have affective component. Yeah, that's what it has. And please objects. Place object to which statement. Now, affective component, we've done that. We have behavioral component. So we have that as that. So we have what's the next thing? I'm trying to get the next thing. Tab on the screen. We have behavioral component. This component refers to action tendencies. I think I skipped that. Yes, yeah. Now, behavioral component, it has to do with coming to late. Coming late to work is wrong. Coming late to work is wrong. That coming late, yeah. I think I got that. I think I got that. So we have under behavioral component. I think I got that. Now now we have behavioral component, and this behavioral component has a lot to do with insistence of what insistence of what to get. So we have I think I'm blanking out already. Just have to call this. Just have to go quickly through this. So Hawkins and his colleague proposed a model in which attitude, cognitive, affective, and Mohammed affective and behavior is situated with so, certain stimuli cognitive. That there are some stimuli cognitive that is only situated to specific things. So we have diagram down here. We have stimuli, worker management, psychology. We have company, we have cognitive, we have affective. So we are expected to all have this component of art. So we have component at manifestation, and we have attitude. So we have that as that. So we have attitude change. Attitude is viewed as social psychology most indispensable concept by Albert. Now, attitude is one indispensable concept. Albert says attitude is one indispensable concept. Now, it defines our identity, our actions, and influence how we judge. Attitude definitely influence how we judge. We have that. We have newly formed or changed attitudes. So the newly formed one or the changed one. So we have stable over time, L with high degree, formed as a result of direct experience. These are attitude. Maybe you form this based on like what would like the analogy they were giving then, that somebody came to buy water and somebody came to buy stuff from the shop, and because he is not well known, he had to not let go until he has his payment. So we have that as that. Yeah, so that's it. Credibility, we have attractiveness, we have all these things there. So so we have those are the things under attitude. Yeah, attitude. We'll talk about attitude, and it's indispensable. This is an indispensable part of all human. Attitude is indispensable. Is stable. Attitude is stable. Is held in high degree, and is easily remembered. Capable of change. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now, every year, advertisers spend millions of naira to change consumers' attitude. Now, government often use media to send messages that is meant to cultivate positive attitude towards its view and program. Attitude is everything. Consumers' behavior, attitude is key. So we have conversation, argument, and disputations are filled with attempt not just to make others see our own point of view, but to get them to change. It's one thing very difficult to change is attitude. So we have now, as the definition of persuasion shows, five significant factors communicators or source of messages, the channel, the message, context, and the audience are crucial in attitude change. Now we have one source of information. Now, certain characteristics of communicator find relevant in persuading others to change their opinion or attitude about a brand. Some of these characteristics are expertise. People who are better persuaded what they read, hear, or see. Now we have attractiveness. Communicators are that are communicators that are physically attractive, likable, or similar in terms of shared attitude, interest, or goals may do better than. So we have attractiveness, we have the credibility. How credible is it? We have the fast and slow speaker. So we have 30 minutes already. We have attitude, change, and work. So tonight we call it a day here. So we'll draw the curtain tonight. It's been a very busy day, very tight day, and I'm really stressed out. As you can see, I think at the point I almost dozed off. So I apologize for tonight's class. It's quite short, but I can assure you next class we will cover a lot of ground. We are already in module 2. We'll be trying up with this material before this weekend. So thank you very much, guys. Do well to go through your materials as when due, and please solve your TMAs with patience. Take your time to go through the TMA, and do not be disturbed with TMAs whereby you choose the right answers and some are still marked wrong. Let's just do well, pay attention to assignments, do well to submitting. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next class. Bye.